It's the Sean Widmer Podcast. It's a journal by someone that just really doesn't like to write.
Oh my gosh, I hit record and I haven't even brought up my notes. I haven't even brought up the notes. Today on the show, we are going to give a shout out to an old TV personality. We got stamp news for you because you've been jonesing for it. The snow hit here. Some thoughts on that. Let's get you caught up with the latest in social media because I know you've been asking for it. And the most amazing career transition. I'm trying to still figure out how I want to word it. So I've got a couple minutes to figure that out while we talk. That's coming up on the show today. First and foremost, thanks for tuning into the Sean Widmer Podcast. Second and foremost, if you're a Patreon member over at patreon.com/Sean Widmer Podcast, like my guy Brennan is, like Kelly is, like many more, Camillo, many more. Why am I singling people out? That's not what we do. But thank you. People like you, Yvonne, Roberta, people like you, keep this podcast alive, keep it afloat, and make it so that it can continue. So it means a lot to me. Patreon.com/Sean Widmer Podcast. We also check out 5-star reviews at the start of the show over at iTunes, itunes.com/iTunes. I don't know what it is. What is it? Apple Podcasts. If you're listening on Apple, you can leave a 5-star review with a comment. And when there's one, you kick the podcast off. But again, there's not one. We're on a bit of a dry spell. Somebody go tell a friend to listen to the podcast and leave a 5-star review. That's where we're at. We need to have it. We need a slump breaker, okay? So let's do it. I come up with a shout-out to kick the podcast off. I'm giving the shout-out to my buddy Jeremy. Jeremy was talking to me today about something that I found very interesting, and then it made me do a deep dive, which was weird because it led to me watching an episode of Full House. But Jeremy was talking to me about how he and his kids are watching some Full House, and his kids are 30 and 38. And so that was really weird. No, he's got young kids, and they were watching some Full House, and he made a comment that I was like, there's no way this is real. But he said, dude, Danny Tanner is the best character on the show. He's like, he was a dweeb when we were young. He was a dweeb, and he was Danny Tanner, and he stunk. But now that we're dads, he goes, you go, Danny Tanner's the best character. So I'm like, there's no way that's true. Jesse and Joey are great. Of course, Aunt Becky is great, trying to get those girls through college illegally. I thought that was very nice of her. Stephanie and DJ, get that education illegally. But, you look at that cast, and Danny is there, but he's not the best character. I watched an episode and a half tonight. Danny Tanner's great. Now that I'm a dad and I have 3 kids, and I see how that show works, Joey's an easy character, right? Let's just be a goofball. Now, I know every character had a moment where they went through an arc, and every couple episodes you get a serious Joey, you get a serious Jesse, you get a serious Stephanie, DJ, you get a Stephanie. That's not right. You don't get that. You get a serious. Why can't I remember the little one? Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen. No, DJ, Stephanie, and the little one. This isn't good that I can't remember. Okay, Full House. I got caught up on Stephanie. Don't name your name. Don't name any child that. Ever. Any human being. Stephanie, DJ, and Michelle. I figured it out before I even saw it, which is embarrassing, but I did see Kimmy Gibbler on there. So there's one for you. Anyways, they all had their serious arcs, right? They all had them. And Danny has a lot of them because he's kind of involved in everyone's serious arc. He comes in and is the glue guy for serious. When someone's going through something, Danny Tanner is there for him. But it's very funny to watch now as an adult. As a kid, he's a nerdy dad, and he kind of is just there, and you're waiting for more Joey jokes. You're waiting for cut it out, quit it. You're waiting for Uncle Jesse with the hair. You're a 10-year-old guy, you're waiting for Aunt Becky to show up right on your TV screen, blow your mind. What a babe. And Danny's whatever. He's funny, first of all. There are some really funny Danny Tanner jokes. Just in the 1.5 episodes I watched, he had some great one-liners. And then, of course, he is that model of, hey, look, you're a dad, you're a parent, and these are the kids, and you've got to be there for them, and you've got to approach situations in specific ways, and you have to show hard love, but you have to show love. And it's the most complex character, and he's just getting dunked on when you're a kid by Uncle Joey because Uncle Joey has his hand up a puppet's butt. And that's a weird thing. So, Full House. Shout out to Jeremy. Okay. Do we do stamp news now? Betty White's getting a stamp. I saw that story, and I saw it right before I came on to record the podcast, which is why it's top of mind, and I can't stop thinking about it. I wasn't going to mention it, but I just saw Betty White is going to get a stamp, a forever stamp. I'm going to hate Betty White now. I don't want mail. I don't want anyone's mail. It's got to be one of the worst ways anymore to celebrate someone in death is to give them a stamp. I mean, it screams, you were old, you died old, and now you're forever old on a forever stamp that no one will ever see. It's like you killed her twice. Well, no one killed her the first time, but it's like she's died twice now. You put her on something that is dying, the mail. I mean, golly. How many times do you go to your mailbox? Once? Ever? And then the next time you go out there, you've got that note. Not that this has ever happened to me, but you get that note in the mailbox that says, hey, we had to take your mail back to the post office because you have 6 months worth of mail we were trying to cram in there and we had no more space. A stamp? Betty White was better than that. She's funnier than that. She was greater than that. You've got to celebrate her better. Put her on like a Mountain Dew can or something like that. A stamp? All right. The reason I saw her as well was this. Let's keep you hip to what's going on in the world of social media. I don't know what social medias you've got. I think right now my power rankings for what I'm utilizing the most, I go to Instagram the most to consume. Okay, to consume. And I do the thing where you go up to the left corner and I click the following button so that I'm seeing what the people I follow are posting. I'm old like that. I don't want the random algorithm. But after I see what my friends are posting, then I'll go and I'll hit the button and it'll zoom through my algorithm and have basketball highlights and that crazy LaMelo shot that he had tonight. It'll have skateboarding tricks. It'll have all those just that kind of stuff, the algorithm stuff. So Instagram's where I'm at the most. Then it's probably, I guess, would be Twitter. It might be TikTok. I think it might be TikTok. My wife has really got me into TikTok. Anna's For You page is insane. It is insane. Thank goodness that TikTok must have been listening to the podcast when I begged and pleaded with TikTok to stop sending my wife the 50 million reasons everyone in our family is going to die, because I can't do that anymore. We have to loosen up the bubble. And so TikTok heard it, and now they're throwing in weird stuff like the video she just sent me that was the tallest lady alive meeting the shortest lady alive and their reunion together. It's wild. It's wild. All that would have made it better is if the shortest lady had said, do you play basketball? That would have been the only thing that would have made the video any better. The greatest tall person question you can ask. So that's would be number one, Instagram. Number two, or Instagram number one. I think TikTok number two. Twitter number three, because I still get on there for a lot of sports stuff, especially during sporting events, and those would be my top three. But Bluesky, a social media app that came out in 2023, I didn't realize it was over a year old. App that came out in 2023 is catching fire. They said right now, as of the recording, I'm recording on the night of the 21st of November. That social media app is getting a new user every 8 seconds. It's exploding. And so I downloaded it. I've hit that age where I don't know if I'm going to have time for it, but I'm going to try something. I'm only going to try to follow one specific genre of posts and see what happens as an experiment. And what I'm doing then is when I log on and I go to the Discover page, anything that is outside of the realm I'm going into board games. I'm just like board game stuff. 'Tis the season right now. The Dice Tower, a great board game coverage website, family games, solo games, couple games, like all these things. They go through their best games of the year. And so it's really good. Dice Tower right now, their YouTube page is great if you're looking to get family gifts or you're looking for next week, Thanksgiving games, they cover it. So I'm in board game world on Bluesky, and all I'm doing is following board game people, board game websites, and anything else that comes up, I'm saying show less of. And I just want to see how I can manipulate the algorithm from the jump and see what happens. I want to see if I can possibly get onto a social media app without seeing politics. So that's the goal. We'll see what happens. Bluesky. I don't know much about the app yet, but I'm giving it a try. Jump on board. Be the person who signed up in this 8-second window. Okay, let's get into this.
Kelly's, what are you into?
Are you in or out on, I don't know, I guess I worded that terribly. Austin Richard Post. That's what I should have said. Austin Richard Post. That is what I am into. Post Malone. And this conversation is sparked by the CMAs that happened last night. My wife was there and said it was great, had a great night, had a fun time in Nashville. I was here forgetting that they were on television early and missed them, but watched the recaps. I do enjoy award shows of any kind. I love an award show. And so one of the things that happened last night is Post Malone performed 2 different songs. He performed his song about daughters, which I think is a great song. And then he also performed, I think it's called California Sober, that song he sings with Chris Stapleton. They kicked the show off with that. And during one of his performances, the camera did what is the smartest thing a camera could ever do in this situation. While Post Malone is singing country music, they showed George Strait, the king of country. And his face said exactly what we want George Strait's face to say. And anyone today who was like, be more receptive, get out of here. Are you kidding me? You dum-dum. George Strait is supposed to hate Post Malone. That is how that is supposed to work. There is never supposed to be a world where those 2 guys are like, hey, it's George Strait and Post Malone doing a duet together. Like, George Strait is going to have to gatekeep. We got to have someone doing it, and it's got to be King George. So it was great, and I thought that was very funny. But it led me to do a little Post Malone stuff because I believe this to be true. And tell me if there is someone else that has done it better, but I have never seen someone change a career path or a career arc or go from one thing to another thing in that working world in a more crazy way than Post Malone. Ever. And that includes in there success. I think success has to happen. There may be somebody who bailed out of a genre because they were sick of it, and then they went and tried another one and they stunk. That doesn't matter. I'm talking success to success. Go watch White Iverson, one of his first songs from 9 years ago, Post Malone, and then go watch I Had Some Help, his song this year that got snubbed at the CMAs with Morgan Wallen. And look at the human being in both those videos. It's insane. It's insane. Now, I am personally an old school Post Malone fan more than the new one. I really loved Post Malone back when he had his first couple albums. I thought were spectacular. Okay, he had a couple after that were in the kind of in the. I don't even know what world he entered there. It was like he went from more of a hip hop vibe to more of hip hop, but like music. I don't even know how to describe that moment with Post Malone. Let's see. He's listed as on Wikipedia rapper, singer, songwriter, record producer, guitarist. I was hoping they would give me. Here we go. Here are the genres: hip hop, pop, R&B, trap, and country. Maybe it was where he kind of went pop, where I was kind of like, I don't know if that's my favorite. But Post Malone has his first album, Stoney, which is good. But then Beer Bongs and Bentleys it's just so good. And I loved it so much. And he is at the top of the world, right? Post Malone is tippy top. He is the king of that genre for a while. He is, this is 2018. Everyone's listening to Post Malone in that world. He's huge. And all of a sudden, it all started with like that Shania Twain concert. They had video of him at a Shania Twain concert going crazy, like loving Shania. Or maybe she performed at an award show and he was going crazy, singing every word. And people were like, wait, what's going on here? And Post Malone's like, well, I love country music. And then that led to where we're at now, where Post Malone produces F1 Trillion, his country album, where he has a bunch of country artists sing country songs with him. And Post Malone, his look, it is wild. the transition that he has made from what he looks like in the White Iverson video to what he looks like in the I Had Some Help video. I know he's got the tattoos on his face. He's got all the tattoos on his arms. He's got the grill. So that stuff in the world of country music doesn't really fit to what you'd expect from a country music singer. But everything else is like right on. He's got the beard. The hair's on point right now for him with the country music world. He throws on the cool trucker hats. He's got, he's got the Wranglers. He's got the boots. He's got the cowboy shirt. I don't know what those are. They're not flannels, but they're like the cowboy shirt. And he looks super cool. And if you have someone right now who is just learning about Post Malone and they are falling in love with F1 Trillion, right? You've got a 16-year-old dude who doesn't know anything. And he just fell in love with F1 Trillion. And he's like, this guy's got some face tattoos, like Jelly Roll and Post Malone. They got face tattoos. That's kind of weird, but I guess that's the thing now. And I like his music, and he sings with Morgan Wallen, and he sings with Luke Combs and Blake Shelton and Chris Stapleton, and these country songs are good. And then you go, hey, dude, here's Goodbyes, which, by the way, what's the best Post Malone song? Let's do a little dive here, right? But you throw him one of the old ones, that kid's gonna be like, wait, what? What the heck just happened? It's crazy. So if you can name me somebody who has had a better transition in the working world from one thing to another and done it in a more wild way than Post Malone, I want to know who it was, because I don't think anyone has. I don't think that exists. But I'd love to be proven wrong. I'd love to deep dive somebody else too. So, man, his songs are huge. Beer Bongs and Bentleys is unbelievable, the songs he has. Because it started out with Rockstar, and then it went to Candy Paint, Psycho, Ball for Me, Better Now. Are you kidding? Then, of course, he busted out Sunflower, which is an unbelievable song from the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse soundtrack. And then, you know what? Hollywood's Bleeding. I might be wrong. Maybe his album stayed hot. Maybe it was just his last one before the country one I didn't love. Because Hollywood's Bleeding had Wow, which is great. Goodbyes, which is maybe my favorite Post Malone song, which I'm looking at now. It didn't even get to number one. It has Circles on it. And then there's a couple duds on there that were singles. 12 Karat Toothache, that's the album that just did not resonate with me. But now he's got the country one, right? And I Had Some Help is easily one of my favorite songs that's been out in the last year, easily. I don't listen to country music much anymore. Even though I worked in it, I don't listen to it hardly at all. But that's a song that I have on a playlist that I love. I do love Morgan Wallen. So Morgan Wallen and Post Malone singing together is going to work for me. Okay, that's it. That's the podcast today. I did need to check on comments. I kind of forgot to do that. Ew, sorry. Forgot to do that, but we want to do that because I appreciate people who take the time to comment on the show. So let's open them up here. You can go to seanslife.com and comment there. You can go to YouTube, comment there. And if you're listening on Spotify, you can comment there as well. So let's start with seanslife.com. Do we have anything new on there I need to address? This is from Ian. Ian says, solid chicken list. Oh, the chicken sandwich places. People were pissed off that I said Raising Cane's. People were pissed. They were like, that's chicken tenders. It's number one, guys. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Ian said, solid chicken list, but I must say good old El Pollo Loco. Are you still is El Pollo Loco outside of like the Southwest? I feel like that's very Southwest. You had to be nationwide. Now I'm going to look it up and I might be proven wrong, Ian, and then I'm going to have to, swallow chicken. Are you still looking for a masterclass sub? I may be getting one here, so I'll have a second one. Oh, really? Can't wait for Indiana Jones on PlayStation. Dude, I'm ready, Ian. I'm ready. I was just talking video games with Travis and my buddy Droden today. We were like, it snowed in Lexington. I forgot to mention that. It snowed in Lexington, and my daughter, God bless her, she is a Washington girl to the core. The second it started snowing, it unlocked all these core memories she had. She was like, are we going on a night walk tonight? Because that's what we used to do every night when it snowed in Spokane. We would go on a night walk right after dinner, and she would just walk through the deepest snow she could find and had a blast. And that core memory unlocked the second the snow hit. And she was like, I got to go on a night walk. So we bundled her up and she went outside and played for 30 minutes in the freezing cold snow because she is a Washington girl at heart. Anyways, with the snow here, it does make me feel like, oh, we're getting into that time where you hibernate in the house, and that means video games for me. So I was talking about games I'm looking forward to. Ian, Path of Exile 2 is the game Droden and I were talking about tonight. I think we're pretty excited for that. Over on Spotify, let's see what kind of comments we have there, if any. Click some buttons. Bada boom, bada bing. Yvonne Antburn says this. I am not a Chick-fil-A fan. Don't like them. KFC and Popeyes are great. Haven't tried Raising Cane's. So Chick-fil-A, I don't hate Chick-fil-A. I don't like Chick-fil-A. It's there. I'm very neutral towards Chick-fil-A. If someone brings me a Chick-fil-A sandwich, I'm going to eat it. I'm going to enjoy it, but I'm never going to seek it out, ever. Never going to seek out Chick-fil-A. KFC, I would seek out. Popeyes, I would seek out. And Raising Cane's, Yvonne, apparently it's a lot of places here in Kentucky. Coming from the Northwest, it was not in the Northwest. It was not in Spokane, but apparently they're getting one. And because Spokane is so brilliant with how they design things, they're putting it right next to Chick-fil-A to just cause the worst traffic of all time in the history of the planet. Okay? I mean, brilliant. Spokane is already set up so weird with traffic. Like, why not just throw one more huge blunder out there? You have a whole parking lot just a moment north from where it's going to be, where you have all of those shopping centers, Target, Dick's Sporting Goods, the Safeway there, the Best Buy. You've got that big lot, Newport Shopping Center. Put the doggone thing in there, for crying out loud. Anyways, I don't work in traffic. Okay, let's see. Was there anything on the YouTubes? Bring it up here. J.R.L. Ryan says, Cane's, hands down, the best. Thank you. Jellybu 707 says, love Raising Cane's. This one said, Chris said, Cane's is not a chicken place, bro. Chicken place should have an actual part of the chicken, not just tenders. Great message. Great message. Hard to argue. Yeah, I'm okay with that. And Roberta said this. Nope, never mind. That was the old one. I already read that one in my face. Mr. Fruit Chew said this. Buy it without the sauce and then come talk to me. Okay, that's a different category. You can't strip away one of the features of a fast food restaurant and be like, well, now how is it? And what are we doing? Think about that. That's like the take there, Mr. Fruit Chew, is insanely wild. Think about Buffalo Wild Wings if you take the sauces away. You're like, I love Buffalo Wild Wings. It's the best wing place. Oh, yeah? Take all the sauces away. Now what? Well, I'm just eating chicken, dude. Like, the whole reason I went to Buffalo Wild Wings was for the sauces, man. I went for Asian Zing. Part of the reason you go to a place like Raising Cane's is because the sauce is so good. They've got it. It's one of the reasons for the longest time I went to McDonald's for nuggets because I love that sweet and sour sauce. And so that was the draw. If I was picking a place to get nuggets, I was choosing McDonald's because of the sauce. Their nuggets also are pretty good. So, yeah, buy without the sauce, then come talk to me. I don't know. I said, I enjoy this. I responded. I said, what's the best sauceless one? And Mr. Fruit Chew said, Tendies is Popeye's spicy tendies. All right. So Popeye's spicy tendies. You see, I don't know about, so you're you tell me to take the sauce away from Raising Cane's, but then you add spiciness to yours. Come on, man. That's all right. I still need to try it. Thank you for listening today. Tell a friend about it. Tell someone you know to go leave a 5-star review on iTunes and write something ridiculous so we can kick the podcast off with it next time.